to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other, one for all, and no gender or faith, we are one. Everybody will get peace of mind. Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home. Welcome to the Plateau Interfaith Youth TV debate. This episode promises to be engaging. It promises to be exciting and entertaining. As you sit back and watch, young people go head to head in battle. Like I always say, not a battle with using guns and machetes, but battle using words. Tonight's episode promises to be exciting. Tonight's topic is: parents and not government institutions are to blame for examination malpractices. I have two teams going head to head. I have the beautiful team from the J team, a young man and a young woman. Give it up for the J team. And I also have the opposing team, a beautiful lady and also a handsome young man from the Topaz team. I want to appreciate our judges, audience in the studio, and viewers at home. Now this is the moment we've been waiting for. Let's give it up for the debaters.
The moderator, panel of impartial judges, accurate timekeeper, my co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Abdulmumin Umilkar Ilyas again of the J team, proposing the motion this time around that says parents are not government institutions that we blame for exam malpractice with the following points. Parents have already abdicated their duties by not properly, morally, and training their children properly. Parents also encourage exam malpractice directly by providing logistics and finance, and indirectly by not training their children properly. Even though the first recorded exam malpractice was in 1914, having to do with the local Cambridge examination, the most pronounced malpractice is in 1964 Tact Expo, involving one Mr. Oladapo that was arrested for leaking the paper to his child. Parents have trained their children to be certificate-oriented. That is why all they care is the certificate and not what they have in their brains. That is why you can see that parents go to the extent of bribing even in class and promotional exams, just because they don't want their children to repeat and make them pay school fees twice. Consequently, we can see that parents have the ones that introduce the issues of miracle centers, a situation where they pay teachers to come and write the answers for their children on the board, or allow the children to bring other exam malpractice issues to the hall. That is why in 2005, a private school in Surulere was closed and 6 papers in WAEC were redacted and cancelled because a fight started between the father and the principal. The father has paid 50,000 for the principal to allow his child to write exams with textbooks, and the vigilator said no. Also in Plateau State in 2006, 8 private schools got their NECO exams cancelled because some parents gang up and went to NECO office to pay bribe, and NECO officer said no. One Arafat Kabir also in 2005 was arrested for leaking an economics question paper to his child. We can see that parents are the ones doing all they can to see that educational sector is going epileptic. That is why they have also bring the issue of impersonation. In fact, it's gone down to the extent that one Mr. Peter in Port Harcourt in 2008 post-UME examination was caught writing the exam for his daughter. Also, a case was recorded of a woman and her child that were raped and robbed in 2008 at 2 a.m. on their way from collecting malpractice. We can see very well what parents are doing to see that even though they have the chance of training their children, encouraging them to be hardworking, but they prefer to make their children relaxed and lazy, and then they prefer to let them do malpractice in their exams instead of them encouraging them to be good people, just like the governments are doing. That is why all over Nigeria, where you see now, parents are the one giving their children money and telling them that since WAEC is now a gamble, they should go and do what others are doing. They say that since you cannot beat them, it's better for you to join them. Instead of allowing students to be very hardworking, straightforward, and tell them that it is what they have in their brain that matters, not what they have in their certificate. No, they want their children to be lawyers like they are, or doctors like they want them to be, or they want them to reach somewhere in life before another time come. That is why they even ask their children to write WAEC in SS1 or 2. Why will the child get SS2 or 3 syllables if you ask him to write WAEC in SS1? You are directly and indirectly telling your child to go for malpractice, which is not supposed to be. But before I go, I want to leave you people with a question, and that question is, who is a parent? I'm very sure with this my point, even my opponents will stand with me and not against me to tell you that parents are the one encouraging malpractice. Thank you.
Good day panel of judges, the moderator, timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to vehemently oppose the motion which says parents and not government institutions are to blame for examination malpractices. Of course, this matter does not require any long argument. How many parents will accompany their wards into an examination hall? And how many parents will encourage their wards involved in examination malpractice? Examination malpractice, expo, chokes, map, package, as it is often called, is an illegal act carried out by students, teachers, invigilators, exams buddies, schools, and to a less extent parents, either before, on, or after the conduct of an examination. It is so alarming that examination malpractice is no longer seen as a crime in Nigeria, as the scourge is the order in our primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. This is due to inadequate funding of the educational sector, poor implementation of government policy, the proliferation and setting up of illegal private schools, as the proprietors of such schools go to any extent to see that their students pass their examination, inability of the government to check our exams bodies such as WAEC, NECO, and JAM. Also, the unemployment of qualified graduates encourages examination malpractice. This leads to low output by the old, weak, and grey-headed professor who solely lectures a hall containing over 500 students with no public address system, leaving the students on a stage of survival of the fittest. In addition, government, as the major employer of labor, is guilty of encouraging malpractice by placing emphasis on paper qualification rather than knowledge of the work. Therefore, everyone goes to any extent to see that he attains the standard set by employers of labor. Our media and other related agencies are even making matters worse by allowing some illegal private schools to advertise and call on students to register and pass their examinations at one sitting. One wonders, how will you pass your examination by merely registering with a school? Also, the inability of government to stop the discrimination between polytechnic and university graduates has bred the ground of examination malpractice, leading to students trooping into the universities by all means, and this leads to pressure on available resources. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me how parents have contributed to all these inadequacies by government. In conclusion, the task of rebranding Nigeria, if it is a serious one, must start by eliminating exam malpractice through creating an atmosphere that would not be conducive for those involved in championing the crusade of exam malpractice. I hope you are convinced that government institutions and not parents are to be blamed for examination malpractice. Thank you.
Unlike United States of America, a country with over 250 million people with adult literacy rate of 87.5%, which include a contribution of parents to child upbringing of 45 to 50%, that alone has curtailed the issue of exam malpractice. Against Nigeria, a country with 150 million people with adult literacy rate of 51.7%, which represent only about 10 to 15% in child upbringing in terms of education, that alone has opened door for exam malpractice in Nigeria. It clearly shows that parents have failed in the fundamental principle of foundation for child upbringing. And because of lack of that, it has opened door for exam malpractice. Looking at the contribution of Professor Nolado in curtailing the issue of exam malpractices in the Joint Multiplication Board, he said one thing that Nigeria need to do to curtail it, Nigeria need to go back to issue of parent-to-child educational upbringing. The contribution of Farouk Lawal, when he's the House Chairman on Education in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he said Nigeria need to go back to parent-to-child educational upbringing, but Nigerian parents have failed. They push the blame to the government. Government accept that not because of a blame, they accept that as the part of their responsibility by curtailing the issue of exam malpractice, by arresting people in Joint Multiplication Board, West African Examination Council, National Examination Council, by 2 years imprisonment. Did you ever ask yourself, did any parent ever went to complain or appeal for their arrest of their child? The answer is no. Parents understood that they felt that. Research being conducted here in Jos in 2002 by the student of government secondary school worship. We have up to 250 exam centers in Plateau State. 30% out of that are called passing centers. Why are they called passing centers? Parents went and paid double digit of what's supposed to be paid in government institution, and they pay that, and the children are being given exam question with answers to be answered. That is exam malpractice. Here in Jos, you understand, on the early 80s and 90s, program that's been going here on the middle belt, which is called School Challenge. Anytime a school that is boarding school, whether private by government or individual, you find out that they beat school that are day school. Why? Because students that are under the care of government have fundamental rules to play, and they play that role not of exam malpractice. But students at home that have been coerced by parents, and parents coerce them to do what they want to do, and because of that, they open to exam malpractice. Do they ever ask yourself, why is it that children will come on school in town, and when they come to exam, they go back to villages? The question is, parents made them to go there because of exam malpractices. In those places, there are high rate of exam malpractice, and government are arresting us in the highest rate. I want to let you know, parents are to be blamed. Parents are to be blamed in the sense that in pre-exam malpractices, they open doors in the foundation which has been laid and is wrong, and the children accept that. In the exam malpractice, where students being given this question with answers that parents pay for them, mind you, these students are unemployed. They are just students going there. Who give them the money? Parents give them those money, and it is exam malpractice. In the post-exam malpractice, parents go and collect those results. When they collected those results, when they give it to their students. With this problem of mine, I want to let you know, viewers are so watching me, you sit here, wonderful panel of judges. You agree with me, the contribution of Victor Kuchili and contribution of Shola on the Plateau in Nigeria is because of that fundamental rules by the government. My co-debater, one of them is smiling because he knows that parents have done their part. One of them is not smiling, he's thinking inside the box because what? Parents have failed. I want to agree with that point, and they are in the box with us that parents are failed in their responsibility and government are doing their part. I want you to be convinced and not confused that parents have failed and government have done their part. Thank you.
All duly protocols observed. I still stand to support the motion by my colleague, which she opposed that parents and not government institutions are to blame for examination malpractice. I stand to say that government and not parents are to blame for examination malpractice. I want to start by quoting the Constitution, the Gazetted Amendment Constitution of 2011, Section 14, subsection 2B, which says that the security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of the government. I want to quote Section 18, subsection 1, which says that government shall direct its policy towards ensuring that there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. Fine. Government in this present situation, you find out that there is inadequate teaching and learning material. What are inadequate teaching and learning materials? There are low quality teachers, unqualified teachers, no classroom, no laboratory, no lecture theater, no recommended textbook. How will you provide good doctors without good practical? How will you provide good engineers without putting them to the right position? 2, there is inadequate preparation of the student by the government. Who employs the teacher? Who employs the lecturer? Is the government. The lecturers are so few. The course syllables are too much. The time limited the time is so limited. You can imagine whereby there is a strike, and immediately after the call of the strike, a lecturer will give you a handout of 200 pages. How do you expect him to read and pass their exams? I want to say another point is there is what? Poor condition of service to teachers. If you cannot pay them, the only thing is the student know that his teacher is hungry. He knows how to manipulate, even if it is material or money, so that he will pass. The next thing is what? Poor implementation of policies that has to do with examination malpractice act. In 1984, that's Decree 20, during the military government, it provided provision that anybody that is being caught in examination malpractice, he's entitled for 21 years imprisonment. The government are not implementing that policy. If the government are implementing the policy, the government must have to go and checkmate the student in their school. The next thing is the Act 33 of the 1999 Constitution make provision for fine. So if that fine is being put in place, parents will not like to sponsor their children. And the only solution is if there is efficient examination management. What is efficient? If there is what? Full training and assessment should be taken to ascertain the level of knowledge and skills acquired by the student. The next thing is what? The government should have effective security by installing secret cameras so that during the exams it will monitor the exams, the policemen, the school authorities, and other invigilators, because they act as a major actor in the business of examination malpractice. The next thing is if the government will make sure that it implements the policy whereby anybody that is being involved in examination malpractice, he faces the law, it will help in reducing the case of the exam malpractice. Ladies and gentlemen, my audience, my co-debater, you can see the part of my shirt is purely white. And you agree with me that it's purely white. I want you to agree with me that government and not parents are to blame for examination malpractice. Thank you very much.
I'm very happy because my opponents already answered herself. She said that she has agreed that parents are to be blamed for exam malpractice. Yes. Why should they say that government are not implementing policies? We are all of us here are graduates. I'm very sure, if not almost of us, we know that after our 4 years in university or 5 years, we go to our lecturers to defend our project. This is an act of influencing policies, and to be sure that we are the ones that wrote our project ourselves. Before you are given any job in Nigeria, you go for interview. Also to make sure that you are the one that provide that result yourself. And again, the government has introduced post-jam. That is what to show us that they want to be sure that we are the ones that did that jam ourselves. We can see it is very clear case in Nigeria that a ministerial nominee was dropped because he could not recite the national anthem properly. to tell you that the government are very sure and doing all they can to see that exam malpractice is reduced. That is why they are trying in all possible ways to see that they try people after presenting results, so that they should not collect result anyhow, employ anybody, that anybody will do whatever he wants to do. And they have agreed also that if all the lecturers, the government and everybody is the parents, when you do not provide the practical training in your home, how do you expect to come and do it at home? You made the law and you go home breaking it by giving your child money to come and pay for exam malpractice, and you say you want to implement policy. No, we cannot blame government, because government cannot come to the hall themselves. You should ask yourself first of all what you want to do for your country before asking what your country is going to do for you. That is by doing all our private responsibility. Like we all know that charity begins at home. You cannot train your child badly and you want the government to come and train the child for you. No, it cannot happen. That is why parents now don't take their children to government schools or boarding schools, because they know that they will be under the government care and the government will not allow all these things. That is why even the children, even government schools, are coming to private schools to write exams, because they know the proprietors are parents and they will allow their children to give them the parents to give money so that they will allow their children to cheat. And in government schools, government are very sure and they are doing all they can to see that malpractice is curtailed. That is why I want my opponents to agree and just give up, because they know that inside them that it is parents that is encouraging exam malpractice. Thank you.
All protocols duly observed. I want to quote the Constitution, the Gazetted Constitution of the 2011, Section 18, subsection 3 to ABC. Section 3 says that government shall strive to eradicate illiteracy where practicable. That's A. It says what? Provision of free and quality universal education. 2. Provision of free university. That's free sponsorship to university. 3. Providing free illiteracy programming. My co-debater says that the finances and the logistics are being sponsored by the parent. If you could remember, just the section of the Constitution that I made mention, it says that the government shall provide free, quality and universally primary education. Is it being implemented? It's not implemented. She made mention that the parents are giving the money. At times, we students, we know if we don't have money, we can call our parents on phone. We told them we are lying while the parents are there not knowing. Some of the parents, it's not they are there to give you the money. If you want to study, they will give you the money. But the problem is the students are not being informing their parents at home that this is what the school has said. Rather, they go beating around the bush. She made mention of 1914. Examination has been discovered in 1914 in University of Maiduguri. If the government have put effective security measures, all these things will not take place. How can they help in examination malpractice? Fine, the expo and the cheating. If a student is being checked before entering the examination hall, at least it will help in covering examination malpractice. The other thing is, my co-debaters made mention of parents trying to work. Parents are not. Parents don't accompany their words to the classroom. If the parent didn't accompany their words to the classroom, let them go and check the assessment of the student. Let them see whether he's coming to school or not. Let them see whether he's writing assignment or not, whether he's taking tests for examination or not. Thank you very much. I hope you agree with me that government and not parents are to blame for examination malpractice. Thank you.
Wow. This has been exciting. I'm so proud. Young people are stating it clearly that peace is possible. These debaters have proven that peaceful cohabitation is possible on the plateau. I want to tell our audience at home to begin to post their SMS send their SMS on the numbers on the screen, and also post their comments on our Facebook page. Now, I want to ask the audience in the studio to begin to cast their vote as I take our judges' comments.
I'm delighted with the fact that we have brought in the issues before us, and gradually these same debaters will be parents and they'll also be part of government. But again, we need to be clear about we have the confidence, but we seem to also forget to work on our ability to articulate issues and our grammar, our English. If those at home who are too scared to be on this stage find us making such mistakes, I think it's not telling too well on us. But one thing I must comment is that I have seen a great deal of research You have shown, you've researched your work, you're committed to the process. You have also shown that your choice of words are to build one another and build us. The essence of this is to make parents and government realize where the positions lie. So for me, it's a great experience.
I want to commend both teams for bringing to the table contemporary issues. You dealt with contemporary issues, which shows that you're up to date with happenings around. I also want to talk to both teams, that is on the issue of overflogging issues. Now, if one speaker comes up to handle, a particular topic, I think he should deal with it conclusively instead of both parties trying to talk about the same points. Then for Jade, that's for that team, I think you should be a little slower so that we can hear what you're saying, because I had it hard trying to get exactly what you were saying, and that's for the two of you. You were really fast, so you should slow down a bit. And then for Topaz, I think your examples, you have researched quite all right, but I think you should use strong references.
I like the way you both took the issue head on. And for Jade team, I must say that for the lead speaker, I think you came back even more better in the second round. Your rebuttal was actually very strong. It was on point. And I like the avalanche of examples you actually gave to actually buttress your point. You went from one place to the other. You went to Lagos. You went to so many places to actually pick your examples from. That was good on your part. And for the supporting speaker, you were at breakneck speed. I was afraid at some point you were going to just perhaps collapse right there on stage. But somehow you managed to see yourself through good enough. You just want to watch that next time so that you can actually have people follow through what you're saying. And for the other team, one of you actually mentioned the population of Nigeria at 150 million. I know it's well past that now. We're looking at 167 million. So that's an information you want to get actually very, correct. For the supporting speaker, I like, for the other speaker, right, that's Topaz team. I liked the illustrations you actually gave. I think you actually dealt more with the issue, even though you didn't use very deep examples. You quietly, but with deep affirmation, you went into the issue and you told us exactly what we needed to know. And your supporting speaker, your rebuttal was not too strong compared to the other side. So I think that's an issue you actually you need to look at the issues itself and not just move around the periphery.
Wow, I have the results in my hand. And I'm proud to say that I'm happy to be in Plateau State. This is an indication that people can live together in peace. The result is out. Before I announce the result, I want to call on the two teams. Please give it up for the team that are proposing. Step forward. Give it up for them too. Not my own making, decision of the judges and also of the audience. The winner is the Topaz team! The Topaz team have made it to the semi-final. And I want to remind you, the star prize is a return ticket to the United Kingdom. Join me again in the next episode. But before I go, I want to appreciate our judges, audience in the studios and viewers at home. See you in the next episode.
Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other. One for all, and no gender or faith. We are one. Everybody will get peace of mind. Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other. One for all.